Welcome to the Jeff Crilley Show. And now, here's Jeff Crilley.
Good morning, DFW. I'm Jeff Crilley. Welcome to the Jeff Crilley Show. It is September 12th. It's a beautiful fall day. At least it feels like fall after 100-degree temperatures. We've got a jam-packed show today. We're talking about everything from women's health to state fair food to a new way to engage your community. But leading off the show, we are going to be talking to a man who is making a difference and is honoring a realtor who was killed while showing off a house last year. It was supposed to be just another showing for Little Rock realtor Beverly Carter, but she was murdered, and it sent shockwaves throughout the industry. Joining us is Josh Stramiello. He is a Dallas entrepreneur who's doing something about it. Josh, welcome to the show.
Hi, Jeff. It's really a pleasure to be here. Thanks for having me.
Absolutely. So why don't you take us back? What happened?
So about a year ago, I was in my last year of law school, and Beverly disappeared, and it immediately went all over the news. I played basketball in high school for 3 years with her son, and she would come to my games, and we knew the family, so it hit home for me. And I had a brief period of time where my mom had disappeared, and we didn't know where she was for a couple days, so it was something that bothered me. And as I really started to study it and get into it, I realized that we weren't doing enough to keep realtors safe. There wasn't protocols that were in place, and where there were protocols, they weren't uniform. So because of that, some people were doing background checks before they went out to look at properties. You know, some people had a call system in place. Maybe they scanned a driver's license, but it wasn't uniform. It wasn't enough to keep people safe.
What do we know about the crime at this point? Has somebody been arrested?
There's been an arrest, and there's going to be a trial coming up in January. There was a husband and wife that were involved in it. The husband did most of the acts, including the murder, and the wife was complicit with it to some extent. The actual details of it, I don't really want to get into it. That's more the family story than my story. My thing is, this happened. It was wrong. How do we make sure it doesn't happen again? And that's what I'm trying to do with my company.
And the suspect is saying that he did not do this. Is he denying it?
To my knowledge, he's flip-flopped on that a couple times. There was an admission of guilt, and then I think that he's pulled back from that position, and then where it currently is, I'm not 100% sure, but he's been unstable the entire time.
Okay. Innocent until proven guilty, obviously, in this country. But having said that, tell me what your solution is, or what was put on your heart.
Sure. So we can continue to talk about Beverly and look at the facts around what happened. So the person who ultimately committed the crime against her, or who at least has been arrested for it, he used a fake number and a fake story to say he was from out of town and he was coming through briefly and he wanted to look at it, and he spoofed the number and he gave some fake information. And at that time, had they done a driver's license check or had they done a verification of address, any of those things, his story would have started to fall apart. And then more importantly, she was missing for about 6 hours before her husband realized that she wasn't where she was supposed to be. Where she was in Arkansas, from that position, it would take less than 3 hours to drive outside of the state at any point of its borders. So she was 3 hours past being anywhere in any of the bordering states. So here's what my system does that would have completely changed that. So when you go in to meet a person, you create an account. And there's a lot of apps that are out there that focus on, and I'm just kind of creating my own term here, victim alert. So there's a safety button that you can press, or there's a safety timer that you can have. And what that does is if something goes wrong, it lets your friends or family, or whatever contact info that you put in there, know that something's not right because you didn't check in. And that's good, but in my opinion, it's not good enough. So our app has all that capability, but then here's where it continues to go on in a way that something's new. So you can message someone on our platform. You can invite them to create an account. And when you're doing that, you don't have to exchange a phone number to text. You don't have to exchange your phone number to make a call. It's very simple for someone to look up your address and who you are and where you live off of that. And once you're messaging on this platform, we start tracking both devices. So every safety device that's out there right now is one way, and we are two way. So we can see, if in Beverly's situation, not just where Beverly's phone was when maybe it went off, but we could see over the last 3 days, where the other phone was. We could see where that person lived if Beverly was kidnapped for 5 days before they found her.
Wow.
So we could have that night seen where she was or where the places that she most likely could have been.
And so obviously the real estate community is going to be very interested in this app, but I can tell from just talking to you that there are many different applications. I think about the dating world. I think about young ladies meeting guys and wondering, is this safe to go on this date?
Yeah, I mean, we've actually already had dating companies reach out to us. When I designed this, and to kind of fill in some blanks on the story, so this happened a year ago, and I didn't do anything with it until a little less than 2 months ago. And 2 months ago, I had just felt so guilty about everything that I had going on that I wasn't doing anything with it. I submitted the designs for the system to a startup weekend competition here in North Dallas, and ended up winning the whole competition. And a group of people came together, and over 20 people. We've all been working really hard over the last month and a half to get this to launch. So when you were talking about dating, I wasn't even thinking of it as outside of realtors. But we've had 2 different dating companies reach out to us and ask us to test run it with their current package because there's a need for them. You have a woman who is messaging a man on a dating platform, and he looks great, sounds great. They go to meet in real life, and he could be a racist, he could be misogynistic, and now she's uncomfortable, she's awkward. It could be even worse than that. And as it currently is constituted, there's no way for that woman to warn all the other users on the site. So those bad actors get to meet people again and again and again, and they spoil the experience for everyone else.
My guest right now on the Jeff Crilley Show, Josh Stramiello. He is a Dallas entrepreneur. He's created BevScore is the name of the app.
That's
right. It should be available here in the next week. Going back to your dating scenario, so using your platform, the person's not actually sharing their cell phone with the person they're going on a date with.
That's right. You can message just as you would if you were texting and do phone calls through the app, and you don't have to give up your personal number.
And for you, this is really a labor of love. I mean, this is. I know there's a philanthropic foundation or an effort that you want to pull around this. Talk about that.
Sure. So we are in the process of finalizing the creation of the Beverly Carter Foundation, and 10% of the profits of the company go towards that. Additionally, I gave a portion of equity to the family. I have individually given up more than 94% of the company in the last 2 months. And I intend to give away some more if we can find the right people. And I'll just say this right now on air. If you or someone you know is an iOS developer and you're interested in doing some front-end work for us and understand that this is more of a cause than a company right now. I mean, we intend to make money and we intend to be profitable, but at this point, I'm not the one who is trying to profit off of it. So if you're an iOS developer that's out there and you want to help keep people safe, please feel free to contact us.
Talk about the family. What I know you were with her son recently.
Yeah.
What's been the reaction from the family?
So the family has been 100% behind this. Beverly was a great person, and she really had an impact that went beyond just being a mother or a realtor. She was a member of her community, and it's very important for her family that her legacy is to make a difference out of this and that this type of thing doesn't happen again. So the family has been 100% supportive, and they will be extremely involved in the Beverly Carter Foundation, and they will also be involved in promoting BevScore and getting the information out there about protecting people.
Do you see this becoming an industry standard that young realtors, as they get into the business, they instantly start downloading this app before they take their first appointment?
I would say that I don't feel like I've done enough with the first version of my app. So there's more things I want to add. There's more things I want to do. So I'm not comfortable saying this is an industry standard yet. I am comfortable saying this. It is appalling that a woman can go to work every day and be concerned about her safety. That you have a system in place as a realty company or someone else to where you say, okay, we're just going to throw our women out there to the wolves, and whether something happens to them or not, they feel unsafe every day. So my mission, our mission, is to say we're not going to let even the appearance of being unsafe happen. So we're going to move towards that. I don't think the industry as it's currently construed is safe. It's not safe for women. It's not even safe for men. So how do we make that safer? So I don't know when we reach a standard, but I know that the standard as it is not enough.
Well, I know in the realtor world, a lot of realtors will put their cell phone right out there on the internet or put it on their sign because they want to be accessible. What are your thoughts about that?
So the level of sophistication that it would take to real-time hack a phone's coordinates, I don't think realtors are unsafe putting a phone number up. So okay. I would start with that. I will say that the meetings and the way they coordinate that is not only unsafe, but it also is inefficient, right? As it's currently set up right now, if you are doing a lot of safety protocols, you might meet a client at a real estate office, and then you might run a background check, you might scan their driver's license, and then when you then go to look at the properties, you've added these extra places that you have to meet, and in a particularly busy city like Dallas traffic, there's 2 times a day where it's very difficult to navigate. And if you're trying to meet a property around someone's work schedule, it can be a hassle. And then additionally, the number one concern for male realtors and the number 2 concern for female realtors isn't safety, it's a time waste. So as we're talking about realtors, one thing that continues to happen again and again is people will set up for an appointment and then not show up. So it's a concern for the real estate community that really extends beyond safety into how do you show that people are serious buyers or serious sellers and they're not, just trying to get some free drinks at a open house or, see some sights in the town. And this is a way for them to do that as well.
Thank you very much. Well, Josh, I really appreciate everything you're doing. And,
Thank you so much for your time.
The realtor community does as well.
Yeah.
Coming up next on The Jeff Crilley Show, we're less than 2 weeks away from the biggest and best state fair in the country. A woman who's become a legend of the State Fair of Texas is just ahead with a preview of some of the deep-fried goodness that is about to greet us.